look back at the past and see what we built and how well it lasted. I did a video once on Göbekli Tepe that's considered to be one of the oldest cities in human history. That goes back 10 to 12,000 years. And like most archaeology, it was buried underground. So at a cursory glance, it would have appeared that it had just disappeared entirely. The same is true for many other, even older sites like Dolní Věstonice, which was a settlement of mammoth hunters that dated back like 25,000 years. And then there's the Jebel Irhoud site. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's in Morocco. They found the earliest anatomically modern humans there dated back 360,000 years, which actually pushed back our origin even further than they thought. And just a couple of years ago, a simple wooden structure was found in a riverbed in Zambia. That was actually dated about 500,000 years ago, meaning it was probably built by a pre-human ancestor. But these are wild exceptions. Most things that humans have built past, say, 10,000 years have just been lost to the ravages of a living planet. I like to say that time is the great compressor. Like the further back you go in time, the more we kind of compress eras of history. And it's quite literal when you go underground. Like it has compressed thousands of years of history into just a layer of rock. Which kind of makes me think of the Solarian hypothesis, which is another topic that I've covered. This is the idea that like so much time has passed throughout deep history, far before humans came around, that it's not crazy to imagine that maybe there was a civilization pre-humans that were intelligent. Like the Solarian hypothesis, the name came from Doctor Who. It was a race of lizard people. But it's the idea that like maybe there could have been, over the tens and hundreds of millions of years that dinosaurs were on the planet, could there have been an intelligent species of dinosaurs? Like if we were able to form in only 100,000 years or so, why couldn't there have been, you know, a reptilian intelligent species? There is no proof of this, but if there were, it would probably just be kind of like a layer of strange, out of place compounds in the soil. Because when you go back far enough, that's just what you wind up with. It's just, everything becomes a layer. But now let's look at the future. What are we gonna leave for the deep, deep future? I feel like to answer that, we kind of have to address how long we last as a species. So I looked it up. What is the average length of the lifespan of a species? And it's around 1 to 2 million years. So it's kind of impossible to know how much of an impact we're going to make on the planet, what we're going to leave for the future. So let's just, for the sake of argument, for the sake of our sanity in this video, let's just assume the Great Filter gets to us, and we only make it another few hundred years at most. If you need a reason or an idea of what actually got to us, I would say just look around, take your pick. So let's say humanity makes it another few hundred years, maybe even 1,000 years. What will remain when we're gone? Well, we build very differently today than we did in the past, but you could argue that what we build today actually probably won't last as long as what we made in the past. You know, we don't make them like they used to, as they say. Most buildings and construction that we do now is kind of disposable. It's only meant to last 50 or 100 years before it gets torn down, replaced, or just falls apart. So as huge as our cities are, and as impossible as it might seem, I really think that in about 10,000 years, most of our cities will just be dust. Now, huge concrete structures like dams and missile silos, that kind of thing, those will probably last much longer. There was actually a show on the History Channel back in the day. It was called Life After People, and it proposed this exact premise here, basically, that human beings just vanished. How long would it take for everything to fall apart? And it's been a long time since I've seen that, but I do remember that they made the argument that one of the very last things that would still be recognizable as something that humans did in the deep, deep future would be like Mount Rushmore. Because it's carved out of solid granite and it's in a place that doesn't get a whole lot of, you know, erosion from rain and stuff. Yeah, by some estimates, it might take like 2.4 million years for the features on the faces of Mount Rushmore to, you know, erode enough to where it doesn't look like faces anymore. But evidence will be left behind for anybody that comes along that might be curious enough to look for it. If, say, 500 million years in the future, some alien species came along, there would definitely be a layer that they would find. An odd layer in the soil that contains random cesium atoms from nuclear testing that went off, a lot of weird polycarbons that don't make any sense from all the plastics that we made, and of course, tons of carbon. Like they might think that several supervolcanoes went off at the same time.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe ulcerative colitis symptoms can keep coming back. Start to break away from UC with Tremfya.
And you know what? That future species might come and go and develop the planet and then disappear, and then another species might come along. This might happen several more times, each species constructing, deconstructing the planet even more and further pushing our evidence into the background. And eventually, if you go deep enough into the future, we're talking hundreds of millions, even billions of years, Earth's entire surface will just completely reshape itself. I've done a lot of research on this for a big video that's coming out soon, but yeah, the Earth's surface kind of reshapes itself every few billion or so years by just subsuming one continent under another. It gets melted down in the mantle, spewed back up into the, onto the surface from volcanoes and just kind of reshapes itself. So even if, that layer of soil is there, even if the Mount Rushmore sticks around, even if our great civilizations construction projects actually do manage to stick around for 1 billion or so years, or even 3 billion years, it would eventually get completely recycled by the tectonic activity of planet Earth. And then, after all is said and done, even if there's something that just happens to have been on a craton or whatever that doesn't get, recycled with the rest of the planet, even if there's something else still sitting there that doesn't go away, in about 5 billion years, the sun goes red giant. When the sun enters its red giant phase, it's going to expand 200 times, which ironically takes it just about exactly out to Earth's orbit. Now there is a tiny, tiny chance that because of gravitational anomalies as the sun begins to expand, maybe Earth's orbit expands out a little bit with it and we don't get completely swallowed up by the sun, but there's a very, very, very tiny chance of that. The most likely thing that's going to happen is the sun is going to expand and swallow the Earth. And then everything on the planet would just be a melted ball. So if our construction survives the ravages of time, if it survives future species that might come along, if it survives the tectonic activity of planet Earth, it will not survive getting melted by the sun. So everything we've ever done on Earth is toast in about 5 billion years. But there's some stuff that's not on Earth. So obviously everything in Earth orbit would be toast after the sun goes red giant. But by this point, really, most of the stuff that we've launched would have come back down anyway. So most of what we've launched would not survive the red giant phase. So what we're left with is, first there's all the stuff on Mars. Now we've launched dozens of probes and landed them on Mars at this point. And Mars will survive the red giant phase, but according to what I read, it's probably going to be hot enough to melt rock. So I think it's fair to say that whatever we've put on Mars would not survive the red giant phase, or it might be turned into an odd accumulation of melted metals, which might be considered evidence. But if we go a little bit further out into the asteroid belt, there are several probes that we've landed out there and studied different asteroids that they might survive. There's the Dawn mission that landed on Ceres in 2014. It ran out of propellant in 2018 and it's now in an uncontrolled orbit. They think it will probably crash into Ceres in about 20 years. One that's worth mentioning is a probe called Clementine. It was actually a lunar orbiter that studied a near-Earth asteroid. It did get flung out of lunar orbit, but has not strayed far from Earth's orbit. It was launched in 94 and the mission ended in 95. So it's outside of Earth's orbit, but not by far. Like, it might survive, might not. Similar story for the Near Shoemaker probe. It studied the asteroid Eros in 2001 and eventually landed on it. The perihelion of Eros is 1.13 AU, so it could possibly survive the red giant sun, but not likely. There's the Deep Space One mission that studied asteroid 9969 Braille and comet 19P Borrelli in 1998. It was the first probe to use ion propulsion, and it is outside Earth's orbit, but again, just barely, so it might survive, might not. The Lucy probe just launched in 2021. It's currently on its way to the asteroid belt. The plan here is to visit 2 main belt asteroids and 6 Jupiter Trojan asteroids over the next 12 years. And they did include a golden plaque featuring quotes from notable figures and info about the mission, so just in case it gets found later on by another future human society or aliens or whatever. It's still a bit up in the air where this will wind up at the end of its mission, but it's thought that it's probably going to be flying around in the outer solar system somewhere around Jupiter. And last but not least is the Psyche mission that just launched in 2023. It's on its way to 16 Psyche in the asteroid belt. It'll arrive in 2029 in orbit until 2031. 16 Psyche is a metallic asteroid, possibly the core of a destroyed protoplanet. It's also super valuable. It's got a whole lot of precious minerals and metals in it. The Psyche mission was also the first probe to use Hall effect thrusters, or a kind of advanced ion engine. But after the mission ends in 2031, it might likely crash into Psyche. It might just kind of float around near it in the asteroid belt.
Enjoy a new year and a new adventure with a new Chevy. Current Chevy owners and lessees can get $7,250 total cash allowance on this Silverado when you purchase. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
For ever? So all these asteroid belt probes could survive for a really long time, although it is still a dynamic solar system, and they're in the asteroid belt. Now, the asteroids in the asteroid belt are not like what you see in the movies. They're really far apart, but we're talking over billions of years. They could possibly get smashed up. Now, there are a handful of comets that we've landed on. You have the Deep Impact mission that studied Comet 9P Tempel 1. It actually smashed the comet with an impactor. The impactor obviously got destroyed in the process, but it would have left a dent in the comet, which might survive the red giant phase. The problem is the probe itself isn't like on the comet, it just sort of like flew past it. So it's sort of in a just outside of Earth's orbit kind of thing. Might survive the red giant phase, might not. There was the Rosetta mission on Comet 67P that launched in 2004. It ended its mission in 2016. It was the first time we ever landed on a comet with a Philae lander, and the Rosetta craft itself eventually was landed, kind of soft landed on there. So these two are on the comet, which is flying in a highly elliptical path around the sun. That could go on for quite some time, but it's not like a deep space comet. The orbit gets as close as 1.2 AU from the sun, so it's still pretty close to Earth's orbit. So again, it might survive, maybe. Now there's another mission that's kind of been forgotten. I hadn't heard about this before I looked into it, but there was a probe called the Ulysses probe. It was launched in 1990 that studied the polar regions of the sun. So because it was studying the polar regions, it had to like get a gravity assist from Jupiter to go into a polar orbit, which is a highly unusual orbit. It puts it outside of where most of the junk in the solar system is. It was decommissioned in 2009, but it's still out there orbiting in this weird elliptical polar orbit. Now, the perihelion of it is 1.35 AU, so it might actually survive the red giant phase. So yeah, it could indefinitely keep doing this orbit out there without hitting anything, although it has been speculated that it does kind of go out to Jupiter's orbit, so it might get close enough to Jupiter at some point to change its direct trajectory. It might smash into Jupiter, or it might even get flung out of the solar system entirely. Ulysses, such a wild card. So all these probes I just mentioned, they'll continue to circle the solar system for billions and billions of years, far longer than our planet will survive, but my bet is that they won't last forever. You know, like I was saying before, billions of years is a lot of opportunity for collisions. The solar system is a bit of a shooting gallery, especially in the asteroid belt, but even more especially considering the changing nature of the sun. You know, when it goes red giant and eventually white dwarf, which is going to be about 3 billion years later, they say. So the chance for increasing instability in the system is huge. Again, given enough time. Now, moving out from the asteroid belt, there are some missions that we sent to Jupiter and Saturn, like Galileo, Juno, and Cassini, but those all ended their missions by plunging into the atmosphere, so they burned up. There's nothing left. Missions to the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, though. That's a different story. This gets interesting. So yeah, you've got the Huygens probe that landed on Saturn's moon Titan, and then there's the Europa Clipper mission that just flew out, I believe, last year. It's on its way to Europa around Jupiter. Now these are interesting because both of these moons have a great opportunity for life. They've got oceans, they've got atmosphere, and when the sun goes red giant, they're going to be right in the middle of the new habitable zone. So based on what I was reading earlier, the sun's red giant phase will last about 3 billion years, which might be plenty of time for life to form. So could life form on Europa and Titan and maybe even evolve into an advanced intelligent species that could discover these space probes and learn that we existed? It's unlikely, especially on Europa. It takes a lot of radiation from Jupiter, but on either one of those planets, if they were to become warm and survive and have life or whatnot, then the probe wouldn't survive 1 billion years there any easier than it would here. Whether it's from life or whether it's just from like a tectonic kind of situation, just planetary volatility, they're gonna get smashed up and fade away. Now, another Jupiter mission I should mention is called JUICE, for Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer. It launched in 2023. It'll explore the moons of Jupiter once it gets there in 2031. And the plan is to end the mission by crashing into Ganymede, so it'll crash, it'll just be a big old mess. But it'll be a big old mess for damn near eternity. So there are some potential candidates in the solar system for evidence that, would outlive Earth. But when it comes down to it, again, we're talking over gigantic timescales, over billions of years, with all the asteroids and all the planets, and the chance that possibly another star might fly by and disrupt the Oort cloud and send things flying around over a long enough time span. There's just a really good chance it's going to get smashed to bits. So if you really want to go long term, like to the end of the universe, you're going to have to leave the solar system. And that gives us 5 possibilities. Only 5 probes have left the solar system, and that's Pioneer 10 and 11, Voyager 1 and 2, and the New Horizons probe. I covered the Pioneer and Voyager missions in a previous video. It's kind of a fan favorite, so go check it out if you haven't already. But those missions famously carried a message in case it was ever found by an alien species. It was designed by Carl Sagan and Frank Drake, and it looks like this. Yes, in our first communication with aliens, we sent nudes and gave directions to where we live. The plaque features a human couple standing next to a diagram of the probe to give a clue to our size, and it shows our solar system across the bottom with Pioneer's path out of it. And this mess of lines over here shows the position of the sun relative to 15 galactic landmarks. And this thing is the key to it all. It represents the hyperfine transition of hydrogen atoms, which is when the electron spin direction changes. It gets a little bit heady, but basically light at this frequency has a wavelength of about 21 centimeters, so it's often called the 21 centimeter line, but equating 21 centimeters to this tick mark in the schematic is how they represent distances to whoever might find this. NASA only gave them 3 weeks to come up with this, by the way. The Pioneer missions launched in 1972 and 73, respectively, and we lost communication with them in the early 2000s. Pioneer 10's currently headed in the direction of the star Aldebaran, which is about 68 light years away. At its current speed, it would probably take about 2 million years to get there. Pioneer 11 is headed in the direction of the constellation Scutum, and it'll pass near the star Lambda Aquilae in about 4 million years. The Pioneer probes have since been overtaken by Voyager 1 and 2, which launched in 1977. They got flung out of the solar system at a higher speed. New Horizons followed in 2006 to study Pluto and the Kuiper Belt, and it will likely overtake the Pioneer probes eventually, but yeah, it'll take a while. Now, the Voyager missions kind of built on the Pioneer plaque and created the golden record that has sounds and images encoded into it for a future alien species to find. Again, I cover this in more detail in the Voyager video, but the first sound on the record is actually an introduction by the president at the time, Jimmy Carter. Rest in peace. It says, "This is a present from a small, distant world, a token of our sounds, our science, our images, our music, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so that we may live into yours." So New Horizons didn't have a plaque or a golden record, but they did include a CD with 430,000 names on it. They had a thing that you could sign up to have your name on the CD, and apparently my name is on it twice. I don't remember signing up for that, so it's probably some other lucky fellow with my name, but I'll put a link to the site down below where you can search for names on the CD. Who knows, you might find yours on there. And aliens might find your name someday. If they have a CD player, which nobody on Earth has a CD player anymore. They also included a couple of US flags, a postage stamp, a piece of the scale composite Spaceship One for some reason, and, this is the best one, 30 grams of Clyde Tombaugh's ashes. Clyde Tombaugh is the astronomer that found Pluto, so it's appropriate, but like tens of billions of years in the future, the last human remains that exist in the universe might be Clyde Tombaugh. Now, as for what the deep future holds for all of these interstellar probes, there was a guy named Nick Oberg. He's a doctoral candidate at the Kapitein Astronomical Institute in the Netherlands. In 2022, he calculated the trajectories of the Voyager probes. And not just in the near future, in the far, far, far future. According to him, in 30,000 years, Voyager 1 will fly past the star Ross 248. In 500 million years, they'll complete an orbit of the Milky Way. Now, Voyager 1 actually is going to be going up and down across the plane of the galaxy throughout that time, so it actually could be going across a lot of dust clouds, and this dust will actually erode away the info in the golden record. Although he did the math on that as well, and he said that it's likely to survive partially intact for a span of 5 billion years. Now, space is big. There's a lot of room between the stars. They say it's likely it'll pass near a solar system, but unlikely to get within like 3 lengths of Pluto to the sun, or about 150 AU. So it might get, flung around by gravity wells, but it might not specifically like hit a star or anything. It's also expected about 5 billion years from now, the Andromeda-Milky Way merger will occur. And at that point, it's kind of impossible to predict their trajectories at that point. He says there's a 1 in 5 chance that it gets flung out of the galaxy. It's unknown how much dust it'll catch in the new Andromeda galaxy. It might be more, might be less, but they might be flung toward the galaxy core even and get pummeled by high-energy cosmic rays. But if it survives all that, it will continue into the deep, far future of the universe, watching all the stars die out, just floating in blackness among black holes punctuated by a random supernova every trillion years or so. And that will be the final evidence we ever existed. A solitary probe floating in nothingness, occasionally flashing across unfathomable amounts of time, our singular and most consequential message to the universe.
For the ones ensuring the job always gets done, and the ones wearing many hats, Grainger offers professional-grade industrial supplies and real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Predicting their trajectories that far out is, of course, next to impossible, especially since all the stars that we use as reference points would have probably died out by then, and new ones would have formed as well. But thanks to some brilliant minds and strong math skills, we can get a pretty good idea of what will happen, which is why today's video is sponsored by Brilliant. Brilliant's an online learning platform that hears you say, oh, I can't do calculus, I can't do advanced math, I can't do data analytics, and it says, no, stop that. Stop that stinking thinking. Because it teaches you this stuff in a different way. Instead of just throwing formulas and rules at you to memorize, it walks you through a journey of understanding, having you solve puzzles and games, plugging into your problem-solving skills so that when you do learn it, it's because it's your knowledge, your concepts that you figured out yourself. Like, that's my favorite thing about Brilliant, because, we all went to school, but school is at its best an attempt at a one-size-fits-all approach. But of course, there is no one type of learning that works for everybody. That's why some people struggle in school and some thrive. Some subjects might come easy to you while others are agonizing. But with Brilliant, it really does cater to you and how you learn, which makes the lesson stick, and then you can expand onto other things from there. If you're anything like me, then I really struggled with math back in school, but Brilliant has math courses that start at the very, very basics with their foundational math learning path, and then you work your way up to algebra, geometry, even calculus. And then you can go even bigger with mind-bending infinity lessons and probabilities. You can just keep going until you're calculating galactic mergers billions of years in the future. It really is a great platform. You can do it on your computer, you can do it on your phone when you're waiting on someone. Like the thing that you now do to kill your boredom, you can be doing this. It's just as fun and you'll learn a ton. If you want to give Brilliant a try, you can get 30 days for free if you visit brilliant.org/answerswithjoe or just scan this here QR code. And you won't just get 30 days for free, you'll get 20% off your annual subscription if you keep going. See, you're saving money. You're already smarter. So one more time, that's brilliant.org/answerswithjoe, and you can make 2025 your big brain year. Links down below. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if this is your first time here, or if you're new, or you haven't seen it, I would point you to that Voyager video. I think it's one of my favorites. It's really old, but it's pretty good. Or you can check out any of the suggestions that YouTube might be sending you on the side over here. If you like it, I invite you to subscribe. I come back with videos as Monday as possible. But I think that's it for today. You guys go out there, have an eye-opening rest of the week. Stay safe, and I'll see you next Monday. Love you guys. Take care.
Folks, just want to give everybody a huge update. A video I made like 6 months ago about Digimon cards. Check it out. I finally pulled it. I pulled a numbered gold card. We did it. It took 6 months, but we did it. But enough of the good news, okay? That's not what this channel is about. So I've talked about a lot of movies on this channel. And for the most part, even the worst movies I've watched have still been like a little bit enjoyable at least. Because I have a theory, and I've said this tons of times on my podcast, every movie is good, okay? That is my theory. Because at the end of the day, like no matter how bad a movie is, I still had a nice time watching a movie. I'm not gonna be like, well, the cinematography, I don't know, it's a movie, it's fine. But I'm not so sure I feel that way anymore, because I recently watched a movie called 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus. And I can confidently say that this is a bad movie. So I found out about this movie through a TikTok that we'll touch on a little later. But how about we read the synopsis for the film? It's 2025. The world as we have known in 2020 does not exist anymore. The virus changed the world, and communism is all over the place. Global world language developed, meetings are illegal, traveling is illegal, and Christianity is illegal. A group of Christians is trying to fight back. I also really love the sentence, communism is all over the place. Like they're talking about dust in a basement. When's the last time you cleaned in here? There's communism all over the place. Fucking caked in communism. Damn, bitch, you live like this? This 2025 movie came out this month on Amazon Prime. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, so this is a legitimate movie, right? If it's able to be on like one of the main streaming services, right? And I did a little bit of research and I found out that pretty much anybody can just upload a movie to Amazon for free. So never mind. And after a little bit more research, I found out that the director and star of this movie is just a YouTuber. He's a Christian YouTuber. Well, I mean, according to him, he's a #1 best-selling director. But I don't really know where he got that title from because he only has one IMDb credit and it's this movie. So maybe he's like the #1 best-selling director of this movie, which, I mean, I guess he's right. But I would just love to talk about this movie today because it is genuinely the worst movie I have ever seen in my life. And that's saying a lot, okay? That's coming from a guy who really didn't mind the first Suicide Squad. So without further ado, let's talk about 2025, The World Enslaved by a Virus. The movie starts with an epic car chase with the main character, Roy. He's driving away from the police who are trying to shoot him and kill him. But when they finally catch up to him, for some reason they decide to just arrest him instead. And we got this great scene right here where he slides across the hood of a car to just get arrested on the other side. And dude, that is so funny. Sliding across the hood of a car to just get arrested. That's like doing a double backflip into a pool of your dad's piss. Like the first part was cool, but second part was kind of lame. Why does your dad even have that? How old is that pool? How long has he been filling up that pool? You know what I mean? Bruh. Now he's getting interrogated by this policeman because Roy's got a Bible. Okay, and that shit's illegal. It's not allowed.
They are from a time when life was different. The time when we could meet our friends, go to restaurants, celebrate whatever and whenever we wanted to.
They also never say outright that it's COVID-19 in this movie, but it's heavily implied because it started in 2020 and it stopped like large social gatherings from happening.
The state leaders came up with new regulations to repress the people and secure their power. The state leaders started to take away our rights and our freedom. Their excuse was virus, something they sold us as a super deadly killer virus. Something they sold us as a super deadly killer virus.
Huh, 5.5 million people died so far, but you're upset that you can't go to a restaurant? Doesn't seem very godly, Roy. What would Jesus do? I don't know, but I can tell you he wouldn't make this fucking movie. And I'm just giving you guys the main points he makes in this scene. Like, this whole part is like 5 minutes of uninterrupted fucking exposition and him just complaining that you can't go to restaurants anymore because of COVID.
If everyone would start thinking like that, we could really achieve something big.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna start a sin tally for this guy. As the movie goes on, we'll tally up all the sins that this guy commits, and we'll see how many he's got by the end of the movie. So far, we've got resisting arrest. I don't know, to a Christian, I feel like that could be a sin. You know, it is a crime. And also, he just, like, undermined millions of deaths. So that's 2 so far. Not looking good. So now we flash back to 3 months ago. Roy is hanging out with his sister, Hannah. Then their other friend barges in with some bad news about Jack.
Arrested, tortured, and killed.
But wait, who's Jack?
He was a friend, our brother.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Hannah. So this friend, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, or no, I don't think they ever fucking say it in this movie, and even if they did, I just wasn't paying attention because this movie is so boring. So we'll just call him Friendo. Friendo Baggins. How about that? Friendo Baggins, he comes over and he's like, you guys gotta stop being Christian, okay? Everyone's dying. You know, they're getting murdered for being Christian, and you guys are my best friends. I don't want you guys to die, so please stop being Christian. But they say no. So he quits their little like Christian rebellion group.
Sorry, but I'm out. I gotta quit.
And that really upsets them.
Stop!
Because like the synopsis says, being Christian is illegal. So being Christian is a crime, and like crime is sinful. Therefore, the act of being a Christian is a sin. So let's add one. Sorry, Roy. So Roy and Hannah decide that they need to go out and find more Christians because there's just no Christians left in the world.
We're the only Christians left in the world.
Because if you guys didn't know, one of the most common symptoms of COVID isn't a loss of taste. It's a loss of faith. So that's what they do. They go out to find more Christians. And they do this by just randomly spray painting a bunch of fish symbols just around their city. If you didn't know, Christians used this symbol to like secretly show other people that they like fucked with God. You know, back when Christians faced persecution in the Roman Empire. But there were like less people back then, right? You're not even put like a phone number or a website, a fucking QR code. Like, what's that gonna do? Someone's gonna walk by and see a fish and be like, oh, a fish. All right. And you know what? I'm gonna have to add another sin. Graffiti? Really? I don't think Jesus would have liked that. Also, while we're on the topic of sinning, I feel like I need to talk about the TikTok that I mentioned earlier in the video. Let's just watch it.
This is Joshua, I believe it's 29 as of right now, wishing his girlfriend a happy 18th birthday. And it just keeps getting worse because in the caption he says, "You have been my best friend for 4 years." When did you start dating her? When she was 14? This was posted in November of 2020, so he was maybe 27 at the time. And then a month later, he proposes to his child bride.
Yeah, and I looked at some of his YouTube videos where I stumbled upon a music video of his called As a Couple We Worship, and literally all the recent comments are just calling him a perv and a groomer and stuff. Like, it's pretty gnarly. And what's worse than that, okay, well, it's not worse than like being a groomer, but the song fucking sucks, okay? The song is so bad. Created the life you deserve, I pray. And I tried to do some more research to find this guy's actual age, but crazy, his Instagram is now private. You know, some people say 29, some other people are saying 24, but like, it doesn't matter really. If either of those are true, like, it doesn't matter. Because, hey man, starting an Instagram caption about your girlfriend with finally 18 and then proposing a month after? Okay, give it up for the bride and groomer. Also, it's very interesting that he would make an entire movie about going against the rules and laws that the government put in place that stop him from doing the things that he wants to do, right? So let's go ahead and add 100 sins to the tally for that one. Shame. And hey, now we don't have to feel bad about making fun of this fucking terrible movie. So let's keep going. There's a long montage of them spray painting fish all over the place until they are rudely interrupted by a cop shooting Hannah in the arm. I don't know how the cop found them. I guess his Christian sense was tingling. But luckily, a random guy comes up behind the cop and knocks him out. I also want to add that Roy just straight up ditched Hannah as she got shot. She got fucking shot and he just like booked it. He ran away. So yeah, we'll add a sin in there as well. That was one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not bail on your sis when she gets shot.
What's your name?
Hannah.
Where were you born, Hannah? Where were you born? Where were you born?
Where were you born? Where were you born, dude? Where were you born? What's your sign, huh? Jesus Christ.
Yes, Curtis. What would you like?
Sorry, not you, man.
Oh, my sincerest apologies.
It's okay.
Hey, that guy's wife is too young.
I know. Seriously, though, why was he being so aggressive about where she was born? That doesn't fucking matter. She just got shot. Bring her to a hospital, man.
Ouch, I've been shot. Don't worry, I'll help you. Oh my god, thank you. Where were you born? What? Where were you born? Just
Why
tell
does
me.
it matter?
Tell me where you're born. I need to know.
It doesn't matter.
Where did your life start? Where were you born? I need to know.
Okay, I was born in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Where are you going? You said you were born in New Jersey. Yeah? My dad was born in New Jersey. Okay.
You're not my dad!
Like the vine. Yeah, like the vine. Anyways, good luck with your bullet wounds, man. What do you mean wounds? I only have one.
Back to the movie. They all get back to their secret Christian base where Hannah's bullet wound is already magically healed. Shout out Jesus for that one, I guess. And this is where we meet this guy. I don't know his name, because I don't think they ever fucking say it in this movie. So we'll just call him Guy. Guy found them because he saw all the fish symbols everywhere, so I guess their plan fucking worked somehow. So they got one more Christian added to their team. And let's see what their big plan is.
Our plan is we just spray fish. Maybe find a better plan, but that's our plan for now.
Let's go spray some more fish.
That's amazing.
Let's do it.
Nice, man. Just spray fish and hope for the best. Because it worked so well last time. And you'd think the scene ends right here, right? Seems like a perfectly normal time to end a scene. No.
That's amazing.
Let's do it.
Thanks.
I'm looking for some new sprays because I think we forgot them where we went. But I'm gonna take a look at that.
Alright, cool.
Why leave that in? Even fucking Guy was like, well, there's no way this is going to be left in the movie because this was nothing at all. So I'm going to look right down the fucking barrel of this lens. And dude, there are so many scenes like this in the movie. Like literally 80% of this movie are the characters just sitting around talking. Like just chatting about God like they're at Bible camp or something. And honestly, man, it's sentences like,
I'm looking for some new sprays because I think we forgot them.
That make me think that they just fucking made up the plot as they went along. I mean, which is probably what they did when they wrote the Bible, but still, okay, it's lazy. It's just straight up lazy, okay? And that's not a very good example that you're setting for your wife. She's young and impressionable. But anyways, Hannah and Guy keep chatting, and this is where we really learn a lot about these characters with some hard-hitting dialogue.
Do you live around here, or where do you live?
I live actually like 20 minutes. I don't even know where this place is.
Jesus Christ, man. So now we meet this other character named Layla, who's actually played by Roy's real-life wife, I think. We meet this character at her house where she pours way too much milk into her cereal bowl and opens a letter from her mom that says, "Please don't risk your life for people you don't know. You mean too much to me. Love, Mom." And her mom wrote that letter because Layla actually works for the anti-Christian government. I'm not quite sure what she does there. I'm going to be honest, this entire part of the whole plot is very confusing because the only thing that happens in her day of work is some guy will walk up and go, here are the cases for today.
Those are the latest cases.
Okay, I will bring it to the master sergeant.
Cool, sounds good.
And I assume they're like COVID cases, I guess. But when she opens up the folder, it literally just looks like a bunch of first names typed out in a Microsoft Word. So I guess in this world, the way they post COVID cases, they just post a huge list of just first names. And if your name is on there, you go, oh, well, I guess that's for me. Same as if you walk by a spray painted fish on the wall, you're like, oh, I guess that's for me. Honestly, on second thought, if that's how they displayed COVID cases, I feel like we'd be better off. Because like numbers, wait, what are those? Do you imagine seeing your own name on there? That'd be crazy, right? Because people usually don't care until it like happens to them, you know? But anyways, Leela actually steals the list of cases and just leaves the folder empty. And then this happens.
Are those the latest cases?
Yes, everything in there.
Excellent. I'll give them to Sergeant Lucinda, my daughter. She'll take care of it.
But okay, let's just recap what just happened at her job. Some guy left the latest COVID cases in a folder on her desk for her to relay to the masses. I think that's what she said. And it was on her desk for about 34 seconds. I counted. Then some other guy comes up and is like, oh, at least today's cases? Let me bring them my daughter, Lucinda. I'm sure you've had time to copy all these all these hundreds of thousands of first names and relay them to the masses, right? Like, what kind of fucking office are you running here? This seems so unorganized. And this is also the perfect time to talk about the editing in this movie because, oh my God, the editing in this movie. Let's watch this scene right after he took the fucking empty envelope off the desk. And that's another thing. Wouldn't he feel that he was just holding an empty manila folder? Sorry, I'm nitpicking. I'm going to show you this scene unedited. This is how they chose to leave it in the movie. So he was there. The screen went black for no reason and then he was gone. The fuck happened? Did he get fucking kidnapped by a ninja and then no one cared? I just don't know how movies like this like just get made and are allowed to be made. Sorry. Got kidnapped by a ninja. He was really nice though. He had like a appropriately aged wife. It was great. Okay, so now we cut to a cool scene of Roy, Hannah, and Guy. Now they're out just spraying more fish again. Second time's a charm. That's the thing about spraying fish.
Making it stinky.
All right, what did Corona do to Jesus?
Nothing.
Dude, man, I didn't even think about this, but youth pastors, they must be having a fucking field day with all this COVID shit. Oh my God. You know, guys, you really can't socially distance yourself from our Lord and Savior. And listen, at the end of the day, I don't need the vaccine. All right, I have all the antibodies I need. The antibody of Christ. I flipped my chair around for that bit so I could lean on it like a cool guy, but you can't even notice in the frame, which is cool. That's embarrassing. Okay, so now we know that it is COVID that they're referencing in this movie. So at the very least, that terrible joke actually gave us some exposition that was needed. We then cut to a super cool scene of this hacker who's trying to track down the Christians, and they're doing some epic Bible research. And I gotta say, as bad as this movie is, this is the first time I've seen anything like this. A fucking Bible research montage with house music playing in the background? Let's fucking go, dude. That's hilarious. I honestly wish I thought of that first. Okay, now we cut to the gang sleeping at their secret base when we hear a knock at the door.
Who's that?
Are you a traitor? Did you sell us out?
Yeah, that's what I say to Jenna whenever someone knocks on our door too.
Are you a traitor?
But Guy isn't a traitor. He wouldn't do that, okay? Traitor, I hardly know her. The person at the door was the hacker.
I am what you might call a hacker.
Hacker, I hardly know her. I can't stop. And she wants to help them out with their cause.
I want to help.
And this next scene is fucking hilarious. It's yet another scene where the characters just sit in a circle and fumble through a conversation about Jesus. But there are some great lines of dialogue in this part, and I would like to show you one that has been burned in my brain ever since I heard it.
Well, then we gotta find these Christians.
So I can do that. I can get all the phone numbers of the Christians if I hack the police.
I can get all the phone numbers of the Christians if I hack the police.
I can get all the phone numbers of the Christians if I hack the police.
That might be the funniest line of dialogue that I've ever heard in my life. Like, I'm just picturing there's like a huge safe at a police station that's just full of Christian phone numbers. Why would you need them? Why would you ever need those? The gang is not laughing like I am. They're actually pretty excited about this whole idea.
That's a game changer.
And honestly, dude, conspiring with a hacker, planning on stealing information from the police, let's add a couple sins for that. I'm sorry. And another thing about the editing in this movie, the music is so fucking loud all the time.
Can the police find those invitations that we're gonna send? So if I do it right, they won't notice.
You're saying, I guess their theory is like, it doesn't matter how bad the dialogue is if you can't hear the dialogue over the loud inspirational music. And it works, man. It honestly fucking works, okay? I'm feeling inspired. I'm feeling very inspired to fucking engage in violent devil worship. This movie is driving me to Satanism. You guys are having the opposite effect. Good job. We now cut back to Layla, who sneaks into a control room at the government headquarters and snoops around the computer where she finds a Word document about a Christian conspiracy. And I pause it on this frame so we could read it really quick. Christian conspiracy. Is this what government documents look like? I don't think the US government budget had fucking word art at the top. Christian conspiracy. Where? Not enough information yet. All we know is that they are starting to gather in groups in the city. Unknown leader. Why? To overthrow the peaceful society that we have. How? We have no idea how they are doing this, but they somehow, who? See attached. Like, it's literally like someone's being quizzed on it. There's also another document that they show on screen for a second that I want to look at as well. It's very blurry, but you can make out the title. It just says possible Christian names. Just like the COVID cases, it's just a list of first names, it looks like. For all we know, this list could belong to like a pregnant woman who's just going through possible Christian names for her baby. We don't know. But Layla with her big brain just deletes all the possible Christian names. Take that, pregnant government employee. Now we cut to another fucking montage. This one features Roy traveling across the world to give speeches to huge crowds of people in order to convert them to Christianity.
But the freedom that was taken from us.
And the amount of people they got for these scenes is honestly pretty impressive. I don't know how they did it, but like, there's gotta be like 4 people in that crowd at least. And I know this movie doesn't have a big budget, but I don't know, you could have used the money that you spent on your engagement ring for your 18-year-old wife on some extras. Just a thought. And this next part is really confusing because it cuts immediately from that montage to, believe it or not, another montage of Roy walking with Leela, who was at one of the speeches, I guess, because I guess Layla is like a secret Christian and wants to help them from inside the government. So Roy and Layla are walking around, laughing and flirting. He shoves her, and while this is happening, we see shots of the earth turning red, slowly turning red. I'm guessing it's like a wave of Christianity. So Christianity is now spreading through the Earth's population, much like a highly contagious virus. That's actually one of the main symptoms in the new variant. It's Christianity. You actually become a Christian. But I guess instead of COVID-19, it's COVID-18. Finally. I also am going to add a sin for pushing a woman. And dude, this next scene is fucking weird as shit as well. So Roy's other random friend stops by and he says that his entire family was arrested for being Christian and they're about to be executed. And then Roy says this.
And we need to fight on, and we need to actually be happy for the people that are now gonna go to heaven. They made it.
If I told my good friend that my family was just kidnapped and they're about to be killed and I couldn't do anything about it, and he was like, you should be happy for them. They're going to heaven. Dude, I would toss them into a pool of my dad's piss. Like, fuck you, man. And dude, that's not even the worst of it.
We actually got some new stuff here. I think you got the Bible DVDs and the Bible study DVDs. That we got some worship night DVDs.
Like such a dickhead. Yeah, sorry your whole family's about to die, but got this new heat, bro. Fucking straight out the stew. It's actually fire. Fucking brand new Bible shit. She bumps. This screenshot is honestly like a genuinely amazing unintentional critique of Christianity. Somebody fucking crying and like sad, their life is falling apart. They just need someone to help them and uplift them and make them feel better. And then there's this super religious guy beside them being like, yo, here's a DVD, dude. Follow whatever they say on there and you'll get to heaven and see your family again. That'll be $10, by the way. And I'm not saying all churches and pastors are money hungry, but I'm sure there's a few.
He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help it.
Okay, now we cut to the government building where the sergeant is giving a Neil Breen-esque monologue.
Unite thoughts, unite currency, language, and values.
And we get another montage. This one features the government breaking up all the Christian groups who are out in the fields singing their Christian songs. And honestly, dude, if cops did this more often, I feel like less people would hate them. I'll go on record and say it should be illegal to play an acoustic guitar around a campfire, okay? I fucking hate that shit. And if you're singing too, you deserve a life sentence, okay? No, longer than a life sentence. A life paragraph. How about that? All right, break it up. This song fucking sucks. We're almost at the end of the movie. Trust me. So back at the government headquarters, we get another weird, pointless Neil Breen-esque monologue from the sergeant.
These are antiques. These are the things that are made of history.
Is he drunk? Why is he talking like that?
These are what holds people's dreams. These represent the Christians that I killed. Go talk to the Minister of Propaganda.
Okay, hold on.
Go talk to the Minister of Propaganda.
One more time.
Minister of Propaganda.
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 I would hate to see what impropaganda looks like, you know what I mean? Come on. Okay, next there's a quick scene where they convert the hacker to Christianity. They fucking hack into her brain with Jesus. And then there's a really funny scene where they just acquired 100,000 new Christians in Asia.
We've reached the 100,000 people goal in Asia.
So they plan to get a bunch of DVDs to them.
Those are the ones that we should bring to Asia.
Yeah, I'm sure those 30 DVDs will be enough for the billions of people who live in Asia. Good job, guys. So in this next scene, Friendo Baggins from earlier, he shows up and says the same thing from earlier in the movie. He's like, you guys gotta stop being Christian. Please stop being Christian. You guys are gonna get hurt. But they tell him they're not gonna stop, so he leaves all pissed off.
Don't say I didn't warn you guys.
Then they do some Twitch stream to spread the word of God, and while this happens, the government is absolutely freaking out because they can't find any of the Christians. They just can't track them down. Even though there is literally just an entire montage of the government tracking down the Christians and breaking up their fucking acoustic guitar party. So I don't really know why they're freaking out, but this is when the big twist happened. Friendo Baggins from earlier, who warned them to stop what they're doing, he sells them out to the government.
How far from here?
At 25 kilometers, I can show you.
So they head out to catch the Christians. They break into their secret base, but Roy is able to escape before they get there. There's an epic chase scene. He steals a car, so let's add a sin to the tally. And now we're right back at the beginning of the movie now. Crazy, it came full circle. So they bring Roy out into the woods, they kill him, and then the movie ends. Seriously, that is how the movie ends. But then in the credits, they give a nice special shout out to their best buddy, Jesus Christ, which is nice because I know Jesus worked really hard on this movie. I think he was actually in charge of like holding the boom mic the whole time because, you know, he has experience with holding his hands up for a while. Man, I don't even know where to begin with my like final thoughts. And I'm not usually one to like shit on independent films because, you know, making a movie isn't Easy. Even with a huge budget, right? If you have a small budget, it's even harder to make a good film. But I don't know, man. If you're gonna make a fucking anti-mask sci-fi Christian movie because you're pissed that you can't go to restaurants anymore, I don't know, dude. You're kind of asking to get made fun of. And when the director and star of the movie starts an Instagram caption about his girlfriend with finally 18, oh, I don't feel bad at all. Fuck your movie, dude. It sucks. Add another 1,000 sins. Based on the fact that this movie changed my mind about my all movies are good theory, and the fact that it's like making me strongly consider devil worship, I give 2025, the world enslaved by a virus, 1 out of 18. Year-old wives. I'll see you in hell. Okay, now let's hear a word from our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Folks, if you aren't using ExpressVPN when you browse the internet on an unencrypted Wi-Fi network, you're playing a dangerous game. Hackers could steal your personal info, your logins, even your banking credentials, and buy a bunch of anime body pillows with your credit card if they wanted to. You know, have fun explaining that one to your bank. But when you're cool and epic like me, you just use ExpressVPN and you're good to go. Because ExpressVPN encrypts your data through a secure tunnel so nobody can see who you are or what you're up to. So you can buy your own anime body pillows in peace. Also, ExpressVPN's encryption is so strong, it would take a hacker with a supercomputer literally billions of years to crack. ExpressVPN also masks your IP address by rerouting your connection through one of their 3,000 plus servers, which hides your real IP address and replaces it with one of their own. And with servers in 94 different countries, you have a wide variety of places you can choose to appear from. And speaking of changing your location, on top of providing you with unparalleled privacy, speed, and safety, ExpressVPN also allows you to vastly expand your entertainment library. Let me explain. Say for example, you're in Canada and you want to watch a certain movie on Amazon Prime. No, you'd be out of luck. You can't watch it in Canada. So all you have to do is change your server to one in the United States, and there you go. You're watching that awesome movie. And this works for any other show in any other country. Simply put, using streaming services without ExpressVPN is like having a bowl of jelly beans, but only being able to eat the black licorice ones, right? No thank you. Folks, there's just no better option out there. ExpressVPN is consistently faster than any other VPN provider. They have 24/7 customer support. They're super easy to use because you can connect with just one simple click, and it's the top rated VPN provider. Rated #1 by TechRadar, and many more. And it gets better because ExpressVPN is hooking up you guys with a great deal. So to find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free, just go to expressvpn.com/CurtisTown or just click the link in my description. Okay, thank you so much to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video and so many others over the years. I seriously use them every day and I cannot recommend them enough. So hope you check them out because that also helps me out and the channel and everything. So, all right, thank you ExpressVPN. Back to me. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press the like button because believe it or not, 1 like equals 1 Christian phone number that I will steal from the police. You can leave a comment if you want. You know what you think about this whole movie and everything that happened in it. And yeah, you can press the subscribe button, because as soon as you do, you become a valued citizen of Curtistown. If you didn't know, Curtistown is the best place to live in the world, and I'm the mayor, so you have to be nice to me. It's the law. You can check the description for the things I do, my weekly podcast called Very Really Good, my gaming channel, my Twitch, my Instagram, my Twitter, merch, all that crap. Thanks for watching. I would stick around, but I have to go. Unfortunately, I have to go spray a bunch of fish. Peace. Remember that really bad anti-masker movie I talked about a while ago? Well, the people behind that movie made a Christmas movie. Let's talk about it. Folks, I honestly didn't think I was going to do a Christmas video this year, but I found out about the release of this movie recently, and I couldn't live with myself if I didn't talk about it. So this movie is called A Law for Christmas, and the synopsis is, a young and aspiring politician has to leave the city for her career and finds her vocation and true love in the countryside. So really taking a narrative risk in the realm of Christmas rom-coms. And getting my dirty little hands on this movie was no easy task. I wanted to stream it online and figured I could because that's what the website told me I could do. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to stream it anywhere online. So I just streamed my comedy special instead that is now on sale until the end of the year. Yeah, so if you're at home for the holidays and you want to get away from your weird-ass family for a little bit, click the link in the description and enjoy my comedy special, Keep Busy. Okay, thank you so much. I was unable to stream A Law for Christmas online. So the only way to watch this movie was to order the physical DVD copy for $10.90. decided against getting the Blu-ray version of the movie because I'm not a dad in 2011. Dude, they also had this great option to buy the DVD bundle for $76, where you get 10 DVDs in the price of 6. The goal is to reach as many people as possible with the message. Give away the DVDs to friends and family who don't know Jesus yet. Yeah, this is a Christian movie. I don't know if I mentioned that. But damn, I'm excited, dude. I'm really excited to get to know Jesus in this movie. Imagine you put the DVD in and it's like one of those cheesy video dating tapes from the 80s. Hey, I'm Jesus. I'm looking for a girl who's athletic. You know, maybe someone who does CrossFit. Just a little joke. I'm also looking for someone who's adventurous in the bedroom. I'm not trying to be inappropriate, but I do have 2 extra holes. Oh, yeah. And dude, Law for Christmas has rave reviews already. We've got one from Jeffrey Wilson, a Wall Street best-selling author. Okay. Well, what's super funny about that is if you scroll down just a little bit on the website, we find out that Jeffrey is also an actor in this movie. Well, I guess he goes by Jeff down here. Maybe that's his twin, I don't know. We've also got a 5-star review from the producer of this film and director and star of 2025, Joshua Wesley. And if you're not up on the lore surrounding this guy, it's pretty wild. TLDR, this dude posted a pic of his girlfriend with the caption, "Finally 18," when he himself was 27. And furthermore, in the caption, he put, "You've been my best friend for 4 years." Epic groomer moment. And a month after that, he proposed to his 18-year-old girlfriend, so super fucked up. But anyways, I had to order the DVD, but unfortunately, they don't ship to Canada. So I had to get my manager, who lives in the US, to order this DVD, and then once he got the DVD, he mailed me the DVD to Canada. Fuck. And it's like, guys, if you really want to spread the word of Jesus so much, maybe ship internationally. I could have done a whole fucking video about the website. We'll get into the movie in a second, but I just want to show you one more funny thing. There's a section at the bottom where they talk about the success of their movie 2025, and they put on the website that the movie was viewed 10 million times. Or sorry, the movie was 10 million times watched. Seems like a high number, right? But he obviously doesn't mean like 10 million people purchased the movie to watch it. Because when you look at my video that I made about that movie, look how many views it has. 10 million. And honestly, dude, respect. That's genuinely hilarious. That's like being stoned to death in medieval times and being like, everybody's looking at me. Okay, without further ado, let's talk about possibly the worst Christmas movie ever made, A Law for Christmas. The movie starts with an introduction to the main character of the film, Gloria. She's a politician in DC who only cares about her job. But worst of all, she hates Christmas.
Christmas is a day like any other.
No, it's not! I'm not really sure how high up she is in the government, though. Like, I'm not quite sure if she's just another government employee or if, like, she's the boss.
Gloria, boss.
Oh, never mind. So Gloria's assistant tells her that there's a new job opening.
They have a new position open in the ministry department.
And Gloria immediately takes the job without knowing any of the details because
it doesn't matter.
And the movie spends a lot of time showing the audience how Gloria is just like the worst person ever. She fires a guy for seemingly no reason right before Christmas.
I'm so sorry to tell you, but I have to let you go.
She then suggests using the money intended for farmers to fund the installation of Wi-Fi in the subway system and then just not tell anybody about it, which I'm pretty sure is a crime, but she somehow convinces everyone that it's okay.
You think the farmers are okay with using their money for the subways?
They don't need to know.
Okay, not bad.
We should tell the farmers. No.
Okay, not bad.
And this is where we get a great cameo. The next person to address the room is Joshua.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you about the school system.
Yo, dude, there's no fucking way, man. Of all things for him to talk about in his 3 seconds of screen time, he's gonna talk about children, dude. Oh my god. All right, guys, I'm here to talk about the elementary school system, the best place to find your wife. Fucking, wow, that's crazy. So Gloria gets the new job.
Gloria, you got it. Awesome.
But she still doesn't want to know what the position is because she wants it to be a surprise for some reason.
I don't really care. It'll be a surprise.
All right.
But the next day, she's given the new position in person.
It is with great honor to welcome our new Secretary of Agriculture, Gloria Winters.
So yeah, after she tried stealing money from farmers, she was named the Secretary of Agriculture for the entire country without any expertise in the field and without any sort of interview or communication whatsoever. And you know, instead of having her in the White House delegating and overseeing all the agricultural operations for the whole country, the president wants Gloria to make a video campaign.
Have you heard of this new social media thing? We want to go viral with a campaign highlighting the accomplishments of the administration.
I think that's the marketing department's job, but the Secretary of Agriculture is tasked with the job of traveling to small town farms to make a viral video. And it's like, how many fucking Christmas movies have done this premise before? Reluctant businesswoman travels to a small town and learns the true meaning of Christmas. That's been done literally 1 million times.
Winter wonderlands weren't her thing until a little Christmas spirit melted her heart.
And it's like, if you're gonna make an independent Christmas movie, why not fucking do something different? Like, do something fucking interesting, you know?
Do something crazy.
But alas, Gloria, her assistant, and some fucking camera guy head out to a small town named Snow Point, and this is when we get the fastest title card ever. Which, now that I think about it, that's like really smart. If the title card is super quick, the viewer forgets the name of the movie. So when they go to tell their friends how bad the movie is, and their friends are like, oh my god, that sounds crazy, what's the movie called? You know, they'll be like, And this is where we meet the other main character of the movie, and his name is Christian Baker. He's not a Christian Baker, thank God, because if he was a fucking Christian Baker, named Christian Baker, I would have broke this fucking DVD in half, okay? And then I would have been left with 9 DVDs. Yeah, I bought the bundle. Christian is actually the mayor of Snow Point.
Mayor Chris Baker?
And he also drives them around the entire time and sort of like keeps watch over them because I guess he has nothing better to do.
We haven't had any federal politicians here since 1985 when William Bannon visited.
Oh, really?
Weird to keep that information so readily available, right? Yeah, 1984 was the last time a politician showed up here. Didn't end too well for him. So Christian drives him to a hotel where they'll be staying in Snow Point, and the hotel is actually owned by his sister, Carol.
Great. Noelle is frustrated.
Yeah, dude, so far we have characters named Christian, Carol, and Noelle. Because it's a Christmas movie, gotta have Christmas names. Jesus, what's next, guys? There's gonna be a character named fucking Eggnog.
My name is Eggnog. I've never seen the sun, and I eat mice. I eat mice for dinner!
I fucking wish they had a little brother named Eggnog, like living in their walls and he's only allowed out during the holiday season. Dude, that'd be fucking awesome. That's what I mean when I say be interesting, you know? Have a little freak brother named Eggnog.
Do something crazy.
So they go to a farm to interview this farmer so they can make their viral video. And I can already tell this thing is gonna get so many views.
Our recently empowered tax reform law for farmers will ensure a federal assistance funding program and even better infrastructure on their behalf.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude, a boring video of someone talking about laws and some fucking farmer aimlessly walking behind them like Bigfoot. I can see Jimmy Fallon laughing about this already. Seriously though, this is the most unbelievable part of this whole film. How the fuck is this video about farms gonna go viral? Realistically, you're gonna need like celebs and memes, right? And I'd love that. I'd love to see how an actual viral agriculture video shoot would go. Okay, so Ice Spice, if you could just start twerking on that tractor, we're gonna get Mr. Beast in here to start rizzing you up. And then in the background, Timothy Chalamet, if you could get into that pickup truck and drive through that cornfield like you did in Interstellar, and then we're gonna pull out from a fucking drone shot and show that you're actually driving a crop circle design in the cornfield of Kai Cenat and Baby Gronk. And action! So after they interview this guy who doesn't give them the answers they want, Gloria tells Christian that she's gonna sit in the back of the bus on the way home and edit the video.
On the way back, I'm gonna sit in the back to edit the video with Joe.
And that's what she does. There she is, sitting at the back of the bus. And this is when we see how fucked up Gloria is. They start editing the farmer's words together to like fit their script.
Maybe try to blend it into each other a little more to make sure the cut isn't too visible.
This job helping the local farmers here is great.
And dude, the thing I love most about the Wesley's script writing is how little faith they have in the viewer to like understand what's going on. They got no faith in the viewer because they're giving it all to Jesus, man. They need every character to say how they feel and state why they do the things they do.
Make his words fit the script.
Make his words fit the script. We're corrupt, remember? We need to learn a lesson about Christmas. So they do this for a while. They go talk to another farmer. But this guy starts yelling at Gloria about the government and stuff.
I work my butt off every day.
And they're going at it, and he's interrupting her. Well, he was supposed to, but he was a little late on his lines.
We're trying to make it so...
You wanna make my life easier?
And then they both storm off all pissed off. And this is when a sad little girl approaches Gloria.
Are you sad? I'm sad too. My dad makes me very sad. He cried last night. I never heard him cry before. I told Mama that money was tight, so he had to sell some more Christmas presents. What makes you sad?
What makes you sad? No, that is pretty sad though. Fucking farmer couldn't get his money up for the holiday, so he had to sell some of his daughter's Christmas presents. You know, that would make any kid upset, but it feels like she was more upset with the fact that her dad cries.
My dad makes me very sad. He cried last night.
I asked for a puppy for Christmas, but I don't even think I need one anymore. Turns out my dad was a little bitch this whole time. And dude, this movie is full of scenes that don't need to happen. Like the scene after the weird little girl goes up to Gloria.
Sorry. Thanks for doing this today, though. See you later.
Cool scene. What was the point of that? What does that do?
What's that do for the greater good?
And why not show the character he's talking to? Also, why show a scene of every single character filing onto the bus? And then a quiet scene of them driving for a while. And then another full scene of all of them getting off of the bus. Yo, like the audience isn't stupid. If you cut from the farm to the hotel, we're not gonna be like, hey, how did they get there? They were just at the farm. Oh, I must have dementia. But as weird as that little girl was on the farm, their 20-second interaction completely changes Gloria's personality. It's like fucking night and day, dude. She's this like mean businesswoman who only cares about her job, talks to a sad girl for 20 seconds, and now she's like... It's so weird. She does a fucking full 180, dude. Is that a Bible verse? Gloria 180? Because they go to a diner in town and now they're just like laughing and flirting with each other.
It's funny to you, laughing at me.
No, I'm not.
But I do love this scene because they tried writing like playful, like flirtatious banter between these two characters, but it literally sounds like two fucking chatbots talking to each other.
I'll have the chicken sandwich with sweet potato fries and mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise? Really?
It's the best. Well, all right.
The fuck? Mayonnaise? Really? It's the best. Right, this is also when we find out that Christian used to live in the big city after he went to Harvard Law School.
You went to Harvard.
Yeah.
And he was practicing law for a bit, but he stopped because that wasn't his plan.
I should say it wasn't God's plan for my life. God's plan.
Drake!
God's plan. We don't have a lawyer within a 2-hour radius of this town.
I don't know if that's really a flex. Like, he came back to be the only lawyer in the town, but he's not even a lawyer, he's a mayor now. So it's like, you don't have any lawyers here. Or cops. It's fucking lawless. I can do whatever I want. Dude, honestly, Loki seems like that, though. Christian gives off, like, major cult leader vibes in this movie.
This is my home.
Everybody's fucking obsessed with him.
These people, they're my family.
He doesn't let people from the outside world visit the town unless he is with them the entire time, like monitoring where they go and who they meet. Snow Point is literally middle America, North Korea. So they keep talking for a bit and Christian makes some more references to God.
It's not my plan I'm trying to follow. It's his.
And on their way out of the diner, they run into the farmer from earlier and he's trying to sell his daughter's Christmas presents. So Christian, being the good guy he is, buys the